client is a former M&R employee for over 30 years and retired as such?
Yes, he did.
He preserved a lot of trees in his day?
I would say yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other members of the public wish to make comment? This is item 10. Zoning application 10. Seeing no other, any other questions from council? Councilor Watson.
I just have a couple. This area, both west and east of Goose Marsh Line in this immediate area, is agricultural, correct?
Designated agricultural zone, agricultural treatment.
Okay. And species at risk been around since 2002, correct?
2007 was the first species that was done.
I thought 2002 was a play ad, and then they kind of...
Officially, 2007 is the date.
Okay. And I understand that there was an application to amend the agricultural zoning on the west side of Goose Marsh Line on a property, I believe it could be one of the objectors. Was that a year ago they applied for that to make it residential?
It was a consent application on agricultural land to create 2 agricultural properties out of 1 agricultural property. There was no rezoning.
Okay. And in that application, were these conditions or similar conditions applied for the protection of species?
No, they are not in an area of species at risk or within a significant woodland.
So right across the road is not considered a species at risk area? Really? Okay. I guess the question I have, and I don't think it's truthfully a municipal one, it's probably more of a provincial one, but a tree preservation plan. I just find this fantastic. I really don't know when we're ever going to be able to develop in a consistent, equitable way when we keep getting downvoted from the province. Here's a gentleman that's paid taxes for, I'm presuming, more than 5 or 6 years on a 10-acre parcel. I'm presuming the taxes have been significant. And it's almost the argument we got when we lived in Streetsville and asked about the raccoon population. We were told that we'd encroached on their environment. And I said, well, how many taxes do the raccoons pay? And I guess I'm at the point here, how many taxes do the skinks pay? And when we get into tree preservation plans, and it's fantastic to me, and I'm just wondering, is this going to be standard for any application for rezoning in that area to residential?
Yes.
Wow.
Just as a matter of explanation, I have already spoken to Mr. Kobayashi's environmental consultant, and we talked about the tree preservation plan, and I don't think it's a plan as you're envisioning. I don't expect him to document every tree on the property. What it's going to be is a condition survey that basically says, okay, most of the trees are 100% in good condition. There may be some problems with the odd area as identified in this woodlot. It's really just a starting point to move into the future. It's not going to be, oh, this is no, and this is a, we don't need that detail. It's too big of a woodlot, but it will be a condition, basically a condition report on it, and then you can proceed.
Okay, if I might, Mr. Mayor, just to pursue this, because I'm a little puzzled why the municipality would want that. Is that in essence an inventory? Would we go out in a year or two from now and do surveys and inspect how many trees have been taken down?
No, it's a starting point. As you well know, we do get complaints from people saying that people are taking trees down. So it's our starting point to understand what exists and what condition the property is in. It's also our starting point, Mr. Kobayashi would like to remove more trees because the zoning requires that he get permission from the municipality. So it's just a starting point to establish a condition.
Do we know what the starting point would cost?
No idea.
Okay. Councilor Day?
Through you, Patty. Patty, I'm just wondering whether this many conditions have been applied to every piece of property within environmental protection, natural conservation since 2007, when the Species at Risk Act came into being. In every instance, have you applied this many conditions to this sentence?
Well, a lot conditions come, and just to address that, I would say no, not every property, but we haven't had a lot of major development within species at risk designated areas. This is and you know, to be honest with you, this is a developing thing. M&R, the species at risk came in, a lot of people didn't know what to do with it, M&R themselves didn't know what to do with it. It's taken a long time for it to progress from 2007 to 2013. M&R, to be honest with you, is doing a heck of a lot better job getting an understanding of what is required, okay? It's a more streamlined approach than it's ever been. They have letters of intent and they have permits. So if you can prove that you are not destroying habitat or impacting habitat and not developing in endangered species habitat, then you get a letter of intent. And these conditions that are in here, I didn't make these conditions up, quite frankly. They came from the consultant and from M&R. Okay? And that's where they come from, out of the environmental reports and from the M&R, the information that's submitted to M&R by the consultant to support that there's no impact to the habitat and to the significant woodland by this development.
Just follow up. Yes, I do appreciate that M&R is getting far stricter, but I guess I always look at these from the need to keep it balanced with the economics in our area. Environmental and economics always have to be balanced, and we can go to extremes with environmental and put a lot of conditions on things, but the question is it going to start to stifle? Simply because we have a lot of area, inland and shores, that may fall under some of these things, and we can take an extreme position or we can be more balanced and say that we need to make it feasible and not unduly restrictive. So, and I guess, so my question is the equality issue. So if we're being equitable with all of the properties that are being rezoned in this way, and there have been obviously others since 2007 that have been within this protected area, we should be applying the same restrictions to them.
I agree.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Patty, just another question here, because I know you've been at this for some time with Mr. Kobayashi, and I really don't want to see work shut down if this is approved and he starts. The section on construction and large snakes in Ontario, is that an M&R requirement or is that a municipal? So, okay.
About construction and if they find hognose?
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
okay, so here's the question I asked of you then. To your knowledge, does the contractor have to be licensed as a species at risk investigator or expert? Or, I mean, how do we know they can even identify a hognose snake?
Well, if there's any questions that it is an endangered species, I mean, I think that's very, very clear. If it's suspect that it is a hognose snake, I mean, there's literature that the consultant can provide to the contractors on site is a picture of a hognose snake. If they feel it's a hognose snake, they can't touch it. It's against provincial legislation, and they can be charged.
Okay, I just want to make sure that this is a provincial
It's
meeting,
provincial.
and that,
Yes, it is.
that there won't be a work shutdown when he starts because they suspect a hognose snake is there and then it disappeared, and you know what I mean? I just wanted to clarify this is not a